In this video, you are going to learn how to use an analytical balance. This is an analytical balance. They're much more sensitive, accurate, and precise than open pan balances, and they are used for low mass samples where specific weights are needed. Before using the balance, you need to make sure that it's level. If the bubble is located within the black circle, then the balance is level. If the bubble is located outside the black circle, then the balance is not level. If you find a balance that is not level, do not attempt to fix it yourself. Instead, notify your TA and use a different balance. You should never attempt to move an analytical balance for any reason because they are very sensitive. Before you start, you should make sure that the inside of the balance is clean and dry. You should also make sure that all doors are closed when you are reading your masses. This prevents air from flowing through the balance. These balances are so sensitive that even air pressure can affect their reading. Now you can begin. The balance should already be turned on with the reading of 0 on the display. If the balance is off, tell your TA and use a different balance because it may be turned off for a reason. If the display says something other than O, push the tare button. This will reset it to 0. The display will also indicate the units of mass. The analytical balance can report masses in several units, so you can ensure to set yours to grams. Make sure the beaker is clean and dry, and then gently open one of the doors. Place your beaker inside of the analytical balance and gently close the door behind it. Wait for the reading to stabilize and then record it.
70.732 grams.
This is your initial mass. To remove the beaker, open the door just as before, remove your item, and close the door gently. Make sure that the balance stabilizes back to 0. Because the beaker is clean and dry, your initial volume of the beaker will be 0 milliliters.
Record your volume.
What is that?
Initial.
0 milliliters.
Next, you will find your final mass and final volume of the beaker. Gently pour a random amount of blue magic into the beaker.
Not yet.
Make sure that the item that you are placing into the analytical balance is at room temperature. If it's above room temperature, it can create air currents within the balance, and it can also affect the buoyancy of your item by heating the air around it and can create an error in your results. To find the final volume of the blue magic, you will need to read the beaker at eye level for a more accurate finding. Record your finding.
$25 milliliters.
To find the final mass of the beaker, you need to place your beaker inside of the analytical balance and gently close the door behind it. Wait for the reading to stabilize and then record it.
87.684 grams.
This is your final mass. To remove the beaker, open the door just as before. Remove your item and close the door gently. Make sure that the balance stabilizes back to 0. Now you have successfully used an analytical balance. Because analytical balances are so much more sensitive than open pan balances, there are a few precautions to keep in mind. You should never put liquid inside the analytical balance unless specifically instructed to do so. If there are ever any spills inside the analytical balance, tell your TA right away and clean it up according to their instructions. Never add a substance to your vessel while on the analytical balance. To do this, remove your item, add your sample, and place it back into the balance. If you need to make multiple measurements of the same item, make sure to use the same balance each time. There is a small error associated with each of the balances, so using the same one keeps it consistent so that it cancels out in the difference. For the most accurate results, you shouldn't handle the sample with your bare hands. You should use gloves, tongs, or a chem wipe to handle your sample because the oils on your hands can transfer to the glass, which will be picked up by the analytical balance. You should never lean on the bench while using the analytical balance because this small difference can alter the weight. Using expensive and sensitive equipment can sometimes leave you unsure of how to proceed, but if you follow the instructions that I have told you, then you have nothing to worry about when using an analytical balance.